Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Charles Sabansi. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a very, very interesting show that I think a lot of you are going to enjoy. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. And also, if you're not following the Dreamerspro podcast, please make sure you check out the Dreamerspro podcast. We're on streaming on Spotify and iTunes. Make sure you check that out in the comment section. Anyway, let me go ahead and get into this topic here. Let's talk about the NBA, goddammit. Let's talk about the NBA. So y'all know Ja Morant is going to miss the first 25 games this season because of all of the things that I'm sure a good amount of you guys are aware of. And with that, it brings the old saying along, which is out of sight, out of mind. And it seems like companies like ESPN are taking that to the absolute extreme. What am I talking about? As you guys know, ESPN is infamous, not famous, infamous for releasing some of the most head-scratching NBA rankings in the sports world perennially. Whenever they do this, they always end up getting a bunch of pushback from people all over the internet. And in some cases, they get pushback from some of the people working at ESPN with them. Now, what am I referring to? As you guys know, ESPN recently released its rankings for the 2022-2023 season. And it got a lot of people up in arms. I want to give you guys their top 10. Just reading from their website. So these are their top 10 players. Number 1, they have Giannis Antetokounmpo. Number 2, you have Nikola Jokic. Number 3, you have Joel Embiid. Number 4, you have Luka Doncic. Number 5, you have Stephen Curry. Number 6, there's Jason Tatum. Number 7, you have Kevin Durant. Number 8, you have Shah. And then you have number 9, you have LeBron. And number 10, you have Anthony Davis. Right? So seems pretty good. Until you get to other parts of the list where you have guys like Russell Westbrook ranked number 93. But it doesn't stop there. This morning, while doing research, I came across an article from fadeawayworld.net. And the article had the headline, NBA fans react to Ja Morant's bad ranking on ESPN's best players list. In the post, it shows you have NBA top rankings, and it goes on. The article says the start of a new season means that every publication is rushing to come out with their ranking of players ahead of the next season. ESPN is in the process of unveiling its top 100, revealing players who are ranked from 11 to 50 on their list. Ja Morant ranked number 35 in a shocking fall from last season. Now here's the kicker. Last season, Ja Morant was ranked number 9. And after ESPN put out this list, NBA fans absolutely went to town on ESPN for putting out this bogus ranking. ESPN ranked Ja Morant 9th best player last season. They now have him ranked at number 35 for this season. One person has a laugh out loud emoji with an hourglass and meditation. Another person said, there are not 10 players in the world better than Ja Morant. Another person said, having him 9th last season was pretty ridiculous, but this is just shameful. Letting off-court stuff influence on-court ratings is ranking ratings a very bad look. Yeah, ESPN is largely political. That's ridiculous. Another person said, they do it for reactions. It ain't that deep. Another person said, how long before the rest of the sports fans stop viewing ESPN as legitimate? I would trust my grandmother's opinion on Ja before I believe ESPN. Ouch. Another person said, it's not just about talent. It's about your ability to be accountable and present for your team. And a few other people went on to say, a few other things. But there was one person that said this. They do it just for reactions. It ain't that deep. Ladies and gentlemen, there's actually truth to that. ESPN and these sports media companies are actually doing this to get a reaction out of you. And I'm not just saying that because that's what I feel. I'm saying that because recently I heard a former ESPN employee and NBA insider actually take us behind the curtains on the Dan Le Batard show, where he said that he was a part of the process when they used to put together these NBA rankings. And he said that, in fact, it's actually not people that are really coming up with these rankings. It's actually an algorithm. So for those of you guys who don't believe me, what we want to do is we want to quickly play what he had to say here about how ESPN generates these rankings. And then we're going to come back and conclude our thoughts. Take a listen to that.
Ladies and gentlemen, in my hand, I hold a sheet of paper that contains the first bellwether mark, yes, the flare in the sky of content season is officially dead because we're doing the rankings again. Doing the ranking. Oh, let's rank all the players because we don't have shit else to do, and this always gets the people talking. Now, Charlotte, some background. First of all, this is from CBSSports.com, but everyone does one of these. Bleacher Report does one. ESPN does one. I was part of the ESPN one years ago. I think we were the first ones. I want to say my editor, Royce Webb, came up with the idea because, in his words, people love lists.
People love lists.
People love lists. People love to rank things. People love to argue rankings.
Do you like a list?
Not really. I like it if we're not taking it as gospel. The problem is most people take everything as gospel, which is why it is such a moneymaker for these websites because they know they're going to get engagement. Engagement not only from fans, but engagement from the players who are like, what? I'm number 72.
Right.
How's
and
that possible?
If you're lucky, they quote tweet it and say that your website is
Yeah, they don't know. That's why these media don't know. Again, this is what the media does, right? But it's interesting. I don't know how CBS Sports does theirs, but I'm willing to pull back the curtain, Charlotte, and tell you how ESPN does it.
Yeah,
because most people think that we would sit there and I would say, okay, LeBron's 1, Steph Curry's 2, 3. Is it Durant or Kobe? I don't know. How to go. It's not like that. What happens is they create this algorithm, and you go into the portal, and the portal will just give you a bunch of names. Like it'll say Chris Paul or Jason Kidd. And you say, Jason Kidd. It would just bring up like Tyrese Halliburton or De'Aaron Fox. Tyrese Halliburton. Julius Randle or Bam Adebayo. Adebayo. And you just kept doing the answers, and it took forever. And then based on this, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of, I guess times hundreds of people, it's like thousands of answers of these one-on-one things, the algorithm would extract with a weighted score, who's 1, who's 2, who's 3. That's how you end up with Kobe being 25 or whatever that year he was 25, which, by the way, it was he's coming off of an Achilles. And people are like, what? I'm like, what are you, high? Of course he's not going to be the best player in the league coming off a torn Achilles. So that's how ESPN did it.
Okay.
CBS, I don't know if they're doing the same thing or not, but either way, I implore you all to know, it's all bullshit. They're just wanting you to react and argue. That's all they want to do. This isn't about CBS. It's about any place that gives you a top 100 or top 75 or top 500 or whatever it is. Hell, NFL Network does it for the players every year, right? Which is
everybody does it.
Everybody
does it.
It's something, again, we started at ESPN.
But it's fun to talk about.
Not really, but we'll do it anyway.
So you heard what he had to say. Listen, ESPN or any other person have the right to come up with their rankings. The problem I'm having with it is that a lot of these guys are not basing this thing off of what they actually see on the court. A lot of it has to do with politics and not politics, but agendas and virtue signaling. Well, we're going to do this because, okay, help me figure this out. Y'all ranked John Morant 9th last season. What happened between last season and now to his basketball game that would make you say he dropped down, 20, damn near 20 spots? What's the thing that occurred? If you ask this question, no one will have an answer for you. No one. They'll say, well, he got off the court. He had this situation. He had that situation. We fully understand that. What does that have to do with John Morant's ability to perform? Last time we actually saw John Morant in the playoffs, he dropped a 40 ball in one of those games against the Lakers. And no one was questioning whether or not John Morant was losing his basketball ability. As a matter of fact, John Morant is one of the few players in the NBA, young guys, that's actually getting better every single year. And he is proving this historically. First year John Morant came into the NBA, he was averaging 17.8 points per game on 47.7% shooting from the field while attempting 14 field goals a game, shooting 33.5% from the three and 77.6% from the free throw line. Next year, scoring average jumps up to 19. Next year, it goes from 19.1 to 27.4 while shooting 49% from the field, 34.4% from the three, shooting 76% from the free throw line. And then last year in 61 games, he scored 26 points per game on 46% shooting, 46.6% shooting, shot 30% from the three and 75% roughly from the free throw line. John Morant was putting up good numbers, and most importantly, his team was winning. So let me ask you guys a question. If John Morant were playing at the beginning of this season, you honestly believe that John Morant would be the 35th best ranked player in the NBA? Or let me ask you guys another question. If John Morant did not have all of those off the court incidents, would you still have him ranked at number 35? Of course you wouldn't, which proves why the list is just a ridiculous list. I think they do this to get a rise out of people. They know this. Somewhere in there, there's a clickbait aspect embedded in all of this. We're going to say things that's going to get a rise out of people. It's going to generate a lot of conversation, going to generate a lot of clicks, generate a lot of traffic to our website, generate a lot of, a buzz about us. And before you know, we have engagement all over the place. This is an absolutely ridiculous list. And they knew, ESPN knew they couldn't play around with the top 10. Top 3, it got to be those 3 guys. It got to be either Embiid, Nikola Jokic, or Giannis. It got to be those 3. So they knew they couldn't play around. The top 10, you don't have that much wiggle room. You can't move Giannis from 1 the year before or whatever and move him down to 9. You couldn't do that. You would lose all credibility. But with some of the other guys, they knew they could do that. To me, this is what ESPN is known for, and that's why the late Kobe Bryant said, everybody knows that ESPN has a bunch of idiots working there, and it proves that. Because while you would put out a list like this and then the reasoning behind it, who would have straight face believes any of this? These are my thoughts. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section, whatever you guys think. Let me know in the comments. Catch y'all on the next show. Peace.